light, just like his wife. But how she was before the tears, and how she was before the years flew by, and how she was when she was beautiful. She sang the letter on, babushka, 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 yeah, yeah. Babushka, 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 yeah, yeah. She wanted to take it further, so she arranged a place to go, to see if he would fall for her incognito. And when he laid eyes on her, he got the feeling they had met before. Uncanny how she reminds him of his little lady, capacity to give him all he needs, just like his wife before she praised on him, just like his wife when she was beautiful. Shout it out, babushka, 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 yeah, yeah. 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 Babushka, 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 yeah, yeah.
Well, now you're saying it. So you have to be about stop.
Try
song. It's just really Bobby Brown.
I tried to love you, but you're not my type. Tried to pretend, but it just don't feel right to be your number one. Should've known better, I tried to stay cool. You were telling me I'm such a fool to say no, number one. Make me break like an animal. Make me break like an animal. I'm asking nicely, give me what I want. I'll ask politely, give me what I want. I tried to love you, but you're not my type. Tried to pretend, but it just don't feel right to be your number one. Makes me behave like an animal. Make me behave like an animal. I'm asking nicely, give me what I want. I'll ask politely, give me what I want. Make me behave like an animal. Make me behave like an animal. Make me behave like an animal. Make me behave like an
Yeah, because it's like the only thing out right now. That or like the
Teacher says that I've been naughty, I must learn to concentrate. But the girls, they pull my hair, and with the boys I can't relate. Daddy says I'm good for nothing, Mama says that it's for pain. Manic says that things I'm cracking, brother says it's in my genes. Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Bang, 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 bang. Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Bang, 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 bang. Suddenly good time, alright. When I don't get time, beauty gets so bright. The night is always like a neon streets are full of lights. Teenage kids and soul dolls, they make you want to cry. Like my superstar, they fall in sun will be alright. Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Bang, 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 bang. Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Don't you want to? Bang, 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 bang. Sunlight falls into his eyes, but he is tired tonight.
Welcome to Nervus Caedentes. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch our show. And before starting, we'd just like to add some quick content warnings.
If occasional strong language, depictions of skewed body perception, banging heavy metal and punk rock music, or copious amounts of swag bother you, then Nervus Caedentes may not be for you.
We have a great show planned for all of you, and we promise you'll leave slightly more introspective than when you came in. Gracias, TV, ako brafaciat.
Frui veli. Sumus Nervus Caedentes.
I've known Ellis since we were in probably 6th grade, but I didn't really talk to him until after we got into high school. We played the same solo, we picked the same books, and it was just, from there it's been like a house on fire, just amazing. There's no one I connect with more, and I'll probably know him for the rest of my life, and I'm grateful for that, eternally. I love them all.
Houston legend tells of a baby who was born screaming Black Sabbath instead of crying, and whose first spoken phrase was, "Point me to Ronald Reagan so I can show him what's what." That baby was Ellis. Besides being the most punk rock person I know, he is also the absolute most empathetic. His heart is the size of the Chrysler Building, and he's the most solid shoulder to cry on you'll ever meet. Through both his emotional support and his piercing writing, Ellis has changed and will change so many lives for the better.
Ellis is such a kind-hearted, loving friend of mine. He's incredibly reliable, affectionate, and ready to provide his input on any of the topics I present to him. He'll always hold a standard as to what I expect from the later men in life that I decide to befriend. With Ellis, I could find myself talking about something as trivial as food from Denmark to intense conversations about the problems we face in our society today. I wouldn't trade my time with Ellis for anything, and I know I'll continue to love him throughout the years we have together.
What are you? What are you?
A Sagittarius.
Tell me, what are you?
Love. At each of our centers is a field of dirt, fertile, yet empty, yet ripe with potential. As the poor man begs for metamorphic change, this destitute land sits open for the seed of affection to be planted. Though the naked eye takes this act as charity, Father Time affirms it as a gamble. I am the poor man, placing forth the chips of my heart, knowing that the seed I nourished may meet its end, ground up and composted to feed the butterflies of another's garden, as mine ceases its passionate bloom and withers away with envy. Race. I want to be defined as a perfect blend, a delicious fusion to finalize the bridge between two distinct worlds, divided by a sea of gut-wrenching wars, each wrapped neatly in scraps of the Constitution, topped with the ashes of 13s, 14s, and 15s. Yet I find myself toppling off the edge, sinking to the ocean floor, watching each new atrocity float to the surface. I want to be proof of concept that the opposites we perceive are cut from the same cloth, fall from the same cluster of stars, yet all I prove is the concept of self-segregation. Am I enough to take refuge with the sufferers? Is there too much horrific history coursing through my veins? Can a hybrid find his place among feuding forefathers? God. O great king of prophecy, yours was the name given to me for my days of despair, as it leaked from your children's mouths, frothing and bubbling with blossoming buds, sweet dianthus, your sacred promises. O holy landlord, I spent years in your home on my knees, heart hollowed out to make room for your grace, only for my arteries to flood with sludge, nerves balancing on needles. As I struggled for breath in your collapsing temple, I stared your firstborn in his tilted face, faithful through the moment the gift of life was pried from his body. O sacred charlatan, is it a sin to fear Am I the devil for decrypting your patterns of villainy? Your bloodlust shown in every wave of your flood, every weapon-toting biblical fanatic, every hued life rejected and taken in your name. Will you disown me, our Father, when I abolish amen from my tongue? Past. Time flows as water does, unyieldingly, viciously, unforgivingly, magnifying the sun to shine crystal clear upon all which lay at its depths. I am the cruelest captain, sailing in the sea of ticking clocks, feebly watching as the sun returns those poisoned memories to the air and drops them upon me as unforgettable, bombarding hurricanes. I am the author plagued by the past, whose head is stalked by the storm of recollections. They hail on me, breaking the flesh of my mind, endlessly assaulting my languished fort, piercing the fibers of my tainted pages and malforming my once innocent words. These black books chronicle my history of hatred, word after word, line after line, page after page, 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 after page. And as a person. What started out as a general hobby has grown into a passion for the craft, and I've been blessed with reading her epic works of fiction and gloriously intimate poetry. Back when we were second violinists in middle school orchestra, just barely aware of one another's existence, I wouldn't have imagined that she would quickly become one of my best and closest friends I've ever had. Whether we're grabbing boba for the third time that week or staying up late discussing story ideas over a lengthy Google Doc, there never has been and could never be a dull moment with Lauren in it.
Lauren is one of the most charming, most well-rounded people I'll ever remember in life. From the time we spent together in carpool rides to spending all day talking about Hannibal Lecter, she's someone I know I can talk to whenever. She is one of my closest friends, and I treasure the passing moments we have together. When I'm not laughing at her jokes, I'm thinking about how lucky I am to have her. I know we'll be together well into life, and I'm holding her promise to remember me when she makes it big one day. I love you, and I can't wait to see how our relationship will grow even more in the next years we have together.
If I was told to bring only one essential survival tool to a desert island, it would be Lauren Sternenberg. She is a rock for all of her friends, as an extremely strong, loving, protective, and comforting presence. She is the one who tells us when we are about to make a horrendous mistake, but also always offers to help. She has unmatched taste in video games, dubstep, and male celebrities, and her breathtaking fiction is always a joy to read. And to this day, she is the owner of some of the fluffiest hair I've ever seen. Okay, is this thing on? Okay, we have the script. Okay, all right, we don't have any time to waste, and I have to relay this message before we're compromised, which is very sad. Alright, we're ready, right? Okay. Well, to begin, I sincerely apologize for the circumstances. It's the only confirmation you will receive.
receive from us about our deaths, but the invasion's incomparable effect on humanity is not what the purpose of this message is. It is advice from the only people who really tried to save the world. We succeeded, if anyone manages to view this message, and perhaps then our stories will finally be told. But until that day comes, I will be telling you what will keep you alive. It is what will keep you from falling into the dark that these invaders have plunged us into, but will hopefully prevent this sort of disaster from ever happening again. You must believe in yourselves. Knowing how people are, there will be those who truly think that they know better than the ones who already do. They will speak over you, the lack of good sense the only constant in the information they provide. But you must not let yourselves fall into what seems easiest, to yield. This will doom you, your loved ones, and all of human existence. And while I cannot predict exactly how humanity will try to weasel its way back into this pitiless mousetrap that turned the vulnerable among us into savage hosts, I can only remind you of what you know and how that knowledge will keep the end of our world at bay. And it's confidence in oneself, and in the notes that we leave you. And I know it sounds silly, such a fake and frilly answer in the face of crisis, but I would not spend my last moments lying to the hundreds I, alongside each of my colleagues, have given our all for. What a waste of both of our times. So, to begin, the parasites prey on those who do not see the value in themselves. They do not promise power, and they do not offer great things to those who feel weak. They act to amplify the ache one feels in moments of great distress, putting the embarrassment, the negativity on a loop within their minds to gain access. We do not know if it requires consent of the host for control to be handed over, but the gap in the armor was wide enough to take over 70% of the world's population many years ago and turn them into killing machines. The only way to keep yourself safe is to wholeheartedly believe that you are doing the right thing. Never decide to live for anyone other than yourself in the fight that will come in the wake of our passing. While the bombs we've planted all over the continent should do most of the clearing, there will be stragglers that you must deal with. If anyone so much as thinks of their inadequacy, even for a split second in the presence of those things, it will jump hosts and, using your body, resort to deadly force against the ones that you love. You cannot let that happen. You must all recognize the greatness within yourselves. The many that died for you to survive in their place have only that single desire. You deserve to reap the life that we have only just begun to sow. So, recognize that you are here for a reason. You're going to live, and you're going to look at yourselves in the mirror and see the dreams of everyone in this base, everyone on this planet standing behind you. We do not care about your personal flaws, and neither should you. Be who you are, take our notes, and live for the sky that cries out for your faces beneath its glow. Free from the enemy and its penchant to undermine. Love as hard as you can. Speak what you will. Create the place everyone in this room would fall to tears to see. Be kind to yourselves, because the journey will be hard. Harder than anything you'll ever think of doing, including our relaying this message. Just live, all right? We believe in you so that you will believe in yourselves. You won't know what to do in some moments, but just trust that your best will always be enough. Never let guilt or fear of failure keep you from this success. You deserve so much better, all in a parasite-free world. It seems as if our time is up, but spread this message. We have plenty more written accounts of the invaders spread in bunkers across the country, many like this one. They reached for technological assistance and blueprints that we could not finish to better cull their numbers. But most importantly, you cannot give in to your own doubt. Do not apologize to anyone for fighting just for yourself, for the ones that you love, for everything that you would like to see in the world. Each one of you will survive, so as long as you recognize your own worth, anything is possible. Your life is possible. Please, please, never forget that. Ever. And I think we're right out of time. Good luck in signing off.
Mariah Adeeko is the human form of the sweetest strawberry in the carton. She is effusive, creative, and funny as hell, with unending sympathy. Anyone who knows Mariah will tell you we've developed a Pavlovian response. When you hear her jewelry coming, you get a little bit happier. Usually, I would say it's unfair that one person is granted such talent in singing, writing, acting, and doing impressions of PVA teachers, but Mariah deserves it all.
And for Mariah, well, I would love to be her. You know, the way that we started out very rocky, but then it was like suddenly learning that the sun was in a different place, like magnetic, riveting. I cannot stress how grateful I am to have someone like her in my life and to be acknowledged and her friend.
How do I find the right words for Mariah? I feel a comparison can be drawn between her personality and her work. Both just suck you in and make you want to hear more, and are all at once layered in theme, colorful in all the best ways, infinitely fascinating, subtle and outspoken at the same time, impossible to get tired of, and always leave me as inspired as I'll ever be just to have a semblance of what she puts forward. When you combine an astounding and hilarious individual with all the talent in the world, then multiply those both by 6,000, you might get something close to Mariah.
America, pain is a universal language. It does not take a translator to rewrite a mandate for mercy. Methodically mocking Mexico does not ring well with activist allies because pain is a universal language. Fewer than 200 years ago, Camp Sumter was built to hold hostage over 45,000 Union troops. The largest Confederate concentration camp in history was home to overcrowding, disease, poor sanitation, and nutrition, but that is history. As the camps cleared out, so too did the inhumane plagues, only to make their homes fewer than 100 years ago in Auschwitz. And what began at the bottom of the pyramid of hate skyrocketed to the unspeakable in a matter of years, but this is history. Yet once again, these sufferings immigrated and made camp with the immigrants, even with Biden sat upon a throne of rhetorical campaign promises, over 41,000 a day praying for passage, get their first taste of America through frozen floors and rotten food, piercing eyes and overcrowded cells. America, when will we see that history repeats itself? America, how long will we let arrogance propel us from discrimination to genocide? America, how long can we go building memorials for every malicious memoir? Desensitizing ourselves to our deep-seated sins, resurfacing each day with refugee bodies in the Rio Grande. America, must the amber waves of hypocrisy run for so long? America, when will we look back at history and realize that our solutions were wrong? America, pain is a universal language. Yet few choose to open their ears past the border, spread fingers, reach beyond the fences that try to keep our land of the free under lock and key. When did we start living in a country where empathy makes you the enemy? Americans, you may not speak much Spanish, but you must understand the unfightable anguish. Ice, until you're frozen over heart's thaw, you will forever paint yourselves the xenophobic zookeeper, gluing nets into the sky to catch birds mid-migration, regardless of the reasons for the treacherous journey. They are more than mourning doves you cage and clip wings of, more than ducks who must whistle from black bellies to pass the time, more than crested owls arrested with no crimes to attest to, more than sheer tails forced face first with Lucifer, voices silenced and star throats withering to ash, catching flies to survive, more than swallowtails swallowing tales of a life uphill when all they've known is headed south, and when they cry, por favor, solo queremos vivir, please, we only want to live, will you hear the cries of families imprisoned by racially charged vision? Or will your denial of inhumanity build a barrier between you and pain, the universal language? One that stems from a single race, the human race. Americans, do not stand idly by as your fellow families face the unfathomable. Do not let your opinion languish brainwashed by bigoted big bucks and preposterous presidents. Until the rulers of this nation react fairly to our indignation, we must stand for those who cannot stand themselves. Americans, if the potential of a petition to give chance to hostage humans is the only chance they have, then that is a chance we must grant them. America, pain is a universal language, and so too is liberation. Thank you.
Maya is quite possibly one of the most cutest people I'll ever meet in my life. When our relationship started developing sophomore year, I always felt a loving atmosphere when around her. She's so sweet, cares for all of her friends, and never skips a beat when it comes to sharing her passionate enthusiasm for all things anime, gaming, and bunnies. Over the years, my love for her has amounted to the same level of our collective appreciation for punk alternative music. Maya, you're dear to me, and I wish us the best these next 4 years we spend together in college.
If knowing Maya has proven anything to me, it's that there's a definite correlation between how much Monster Energy you drink and how sweet and lovable of a person you are. And Maya drinks a lot of Monster Energy. I will always cherish our every conversation about Marvel movies, horror TV shows, indie video games, and how well Keanu Reeves plays a whacked-out rock and roll legend from the future. And with Maya on her way to punk music stardom and the halls of legendary video game developers, I can't wait to see her future just get brighter and brighter.
Maya. Well, I don't think I've ever met anyone quite as kind as she is. I've known that ever since we first began speaking after we found out we both loved Legend of Zelda. And it's just evolved into more games and more things that we can talk about all the time. And I try to be my best around her because she just brings it out of me with the way that she sees the world. It's so lovely.
Sunshine for everyone, but as far as I can remember, we've been migratory animals, living under changing weather. Someday we will foresee obstacles through the blizzard, through the blizzard. Today we will sell our uniform, live together, live together.
Does it bother you?
What?
How easily the confidence came.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do because I'm you. We know you. Why do you feel so conflicted about yourself?
I live in a world that caters to me. I already have so much that others could not. It feels wrong to think that way.
Which way is that?
To think I'm better?
That's not what this is, though. We know you. You're not someone who thinks they're superior to others.
No. Well, it feels too similar to gloating. I hate people who do that.
Gloating about material things, yes, but that's not what we're referring to.
Privilege. I have privilege and...
That's not it either.
Fine, why do you shirk yourself? Your confidence. I was there. I watched you the moment you looked in the mirror and liked what you saw. Why does that bother you?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Listen, it's not just me who sees the way you ignore your potential. We agree. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Then is it so wrong to acknowledge your lack of self-hatred?
When you put it like that, no. Is that all? You wanted to remind me it's okay to be a bit self-obsessed?
Now I don't think you're understanding me. Us.
Us.
Yes.
You seem to be missing the point.
How exactly am I doing that?
You ask many questions for someone who knows the answer. You're making yourself into something you're not. An ass.
Ha! Ass.
God damn it. Don't you get why we're bothering you with this?
Your comfort with who you are genuinely bothers you. We don't think it should. You're growing up and realizing the shtick of self-loathing is old news. You're learning the only person you have to be is the one that you want to. You met that goal. So why do you have this guilt?
Okay. Well, it's not as dire as you think. It's not a lack of acceptance or a shirking of myself. It's more of the realization that not many people around me have this kind of coexistence, where who they want to be and who they are overlap. I don't want to flaunt something like that when I know there are people around me who struggle with who they are daily. It makes me feel bad.
They're not your problem? I mean, we know you wish them well, but we also know that the internal journey one needs to go on isn't something you can help them with. You helped yourself. That's enough. Your support is enough too.
Is it? Honestly?
You know your friends. They want you to be happy. Trying to force your thinking into reverse to what it was when you were younger isn't going to make you feel better. And when you don't feel good, neither do your friends. Neither do we.
No,
not at all.
You deserve more than what you give.
I won't lie and say I never thought of it that way, but I didn't think they noticed.
They do.
Man. Oh shit. This is just so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm a bit stupid.
Sometimes.
How can I get a big head with you always knocking me down a peg?
That's what we're here for. But now the reverse is true. Sometimes you knock yourself down. We have to berate you until you go back. That's how we both know you aren't becoming a narcissist. At least you get embarrassed.
Oh my god. Is this all you wanted to say? I feel like you've gotten the point across now.
What? You prefer honesty. We're being honest.
Okay, thanks. I'm good. I don't like my face that much.
Exaggeration is funny. But yes, that was it. You being comfortable with yourself, or anyone liking themselves, is absolutely fine.
It's better than fine.
I don't have anything else to say to that, other than I received your message, and I'll do what you said. I'll keep working on keeping the guilt away.
Good.
So, we're done?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. I'll talk to you all soon enough. Back to being my imagination.
I've been ghosting. I've been ghosting alone. Ghost in your house, ghost in your arms. When you're tossing, when you're turning loosely, it's because I'm roasting your dreams. And this is what I have decided to pull these old white sheets from my head. I'll leave them for they need
ask you a question? When did you start, pretending? I guess around sophomore year. Hey, do I have any real confidence? Yeah, you do. Cool.
I'm not mad at you, I didn't say all that to make you feel bad. I'm just concerned for you like everyone else is. People care about you and they think about what you're doing to yourself, and
Yeah, I'd like that.
When I wake to the sun, pre-molded plastic soles to closed feet, there's an untouched crispness to the air, like no one has breathed in before. Each tiny dust mote brings with it another opportunity for reflection. Now, self-examination is incredibly hard for most people my age. I mean, we're barely adults. We are barely beginning to know ourselves, much less turn over the rocks we've only begun to notice. It's daunting. It's scary. For lack of a more impactful synonym, to know oneself is to confront a person we're not even sure we like, much less one we understand. To roil in my own mortality is a common weeknight event. Reading classic literature about those 5 times my age, hating everything they allowed their lives to become, only to then die in a rather fantastical fashion shortly after, leaves one of 2 tastes behind. A vivid lightness that promises more than mere satisfaction, or something days old, prime and past and buried, left in the fridge to rot. All I know is that while one is desirable, the other is most certainly not. Where all this confusion about the self ties into me is how I've started to pick apart the braids making my own framework. Accepting the things that I thought I once needed to be, to have, to love, to hate, they are not synonymous with what I realize I want. No one can look at my wind-burned cheeks, count the tiny wrinkles I form from long bouts of laughter, and tell me that I belong alone. I belong to myself. Each and every bit of me is precious, pink, petals soft, and deserving of gentle hands, of tenderness. I have unlearned what society tried to impress upon me all my short life, a lack of acceptance bracketed by jealous judgment. When pink was bad and weak, and when other women were enemies, not inspirations. When I wake to the sun, I am reminded of who I want to be, as well as who I am. They are not far apart in value. One speaks to dewed grass, glimmering as if the earth has sprouted diamonds overnight. The other speaks to the Keurig, the diamonds layered as rings on each finger. Each is alive, a sponge set to pluck styles and interests, and various appreciations from others who know their own worth and are confident, unapologetic within it. They are both me, their only difference lying in the span of decades between us.
You are here, Earth, which also makes you here in the solar system, here in the Milky Way galaxy, in the universe, in the multiverse, which is all just one cube of sugar in Neil deGrasse Tyson's coffee, in case you didn't know. But you're also here. Now, I may not really know you, but I don't have to for me to know an objective truth about you. You have a body. Think about that for a minute. Think about all the lost souls swimming through the void just outside the cusp of reality. You can't even dream of what life is like. Take a moment and rub your fingertips against each other and just take in the fact that it's possible. But I think we all know that, and I guarantee that in the past couple of months you've had an, oh my God, this is what reality feels like, type of moment. And what happens when we feel that? When we're invigorated with this newfound power of aliveness and we ask the question, well, what do I do with it? Now that I'm part of a universal continuity, how am I supposed to use it? To which I would tell you, I don't know, dude, I'm trying to record a voiceover right now. Go figure it out, nerd. And that's just it. I don't know. I've never known. 4 years ago, I asked myself the question, who is it that I'm hoping to be? And I hate to break it to me, but I've made very few advancements on that answer other than realizing that I exist. And that's a realization that I'm grateful for. I exist, you exist, we exist together in this one world and in our own individual worlds connected via a social solar system. Isn't that awesome? Why don't people talk about this more? Back up to that last part. Your mind is your own little world. No two are ever shaped the same. Yours has its own unique characters and characteristics completely foreign to even the closest celestial bodies. Your mind is home to hundreds of ecosystems, blooming ideas, prosperous gardens of pure, inalienable thoughts sprouting from the soil. But worlds face catastrophe. Disaster is inevitable one way or another. Destruction comes heralded by the self or the forces surrounding it. Worlds collide and reap destruction, storms rage on for eternities, but ultimately life returns. Life finds a way to make its comeback time and time again, no matter what has to happen before a new era of prosperity begins. And believe me, I've had my fair deal of catastrophe in my little mind planet, but I realize now that throughout it all, I've never been abandoned. Surrounding me, surrounding you, there are stars to look towards, stars looking back at you with the same awe and love beaming from their plasma hearts. I exist, I am real, and for the stars who kept me from withering into space dust, who kept my world lit even in the darkest times, this is for you. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, this is the guy that's why this video is happening at some point, because of that man right there.
appreciate that.
Yes,
so.
very much.
There is not an after show.
Sorry.
My bad, yo.
Yeah.
I love you. Have an excellent night. Thank you so much.